What's going on? The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast is brought to you by You Named It. You named it. I'm setting a record for how quickly it takes me in the podcast to say something that makes me sound like I'm stoned. God. Okay, let's start the whole thing over. The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast is brought to you by several key sponsors. Now I sound like I'm just annoyed. The Kent County Health Department reminds you, especially supporters of masks like Boring Dean, Patriot Nick, and Joe Morin, to cough into your elbow, wear your mask, and be socially distant as best you can. All right? Those are the set of standards, rules, I guess, advice from the experts, people who know more than us. In fact, Nurse Mary Wazinski is going to join me this week. In fact, today, Nurse Mary Wazinski, the immunization supervisor at the Kent County Health Department. So that is cool. She's great. I just love her to death. So I'll feature an interview later on today with her at all the usual spots. So that's coming up. Kent County Health Department, they have everything in place there dealing with COVID to help in that whole scenario with 4 COVID testing stations throughout the area. Just go to accesskent.com. I've been saying .org for like the last 3 months. accesskent.com/health for more information. And immunizations, you know, with the kids going back to school, it's important, though we are in the middle of a pandemic, to make sure that you do get those immunizations. And if you reach out to the health department, you can find out about how you can get those quickly and with little or no cost. All right. Kent County Health Department, thank you for allowing me to speak about your initiatives in place for the community. Van Dyke Mortgage, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage wants you to quit worrying about how it sucks, how you have to pay some slumlord a big pile of cash each month, and you've got really nothing to show for it. Why are you paying the slumlord's mortgage? Okay, why are you helping him with his investments or her? Be your own slumlord of you. Okay, reach out to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Again, if you can pay rent, you're probably able to get a mortgage. Not everyone. But for those who can, he can help you and put you on the right track so that you can return to him after you follow his advice and get a mortgage, man. Call up Mario at 231-332-6505. That's all I'm asking you to do. Quit acting like you know the end of the story. You don't. Reach out to Mario and tell him that I sent you. 231-332-6505. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. NMLS number. I don't know what the hell those things are, but they make me say it. Is 3035. And, of course, last but not least, warming us up is the Metalworks Body Shop Fear Bunker Studio. That's where we do this show. If you crack the thing up, head over. When I say thing, I don't mean car. Well, I guess it could be car because they do fix those too. But their bread and butter is campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, RVs. If you crack those up, maybe something happens. You're like, oh, man, that's nothing. That is nothing to fear. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Just take it over to Metalworks Body Shop, and you will be amazed at the great work that they do. And they have the largest spray booth in Michigan. They got a great crew there of these awesome folks who do an amazing job repairing those pieces of equipment. Metalworks Body Shop in Coopersville, Michigan. You need more info, just click on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. And then it'll take you right to their Facebook page, or just go to metalworksbodyshop.com. It is all there. Okay. Very late as usual. I might as well just start saying, the show starts about 10 after 8 every day. What a jackass. It is the 21st of August, 2020, and the Eric Zane Show podcast.
Hey, what's happening?
Begins now.
Hey, what's happening?
I need a titty in my mouth. And now, here's a guy who really ought to be saving his breath for his inflatable date.
You're the most ridiculous thing!
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Thanks very much, Johnny. Welcome to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Softball, it is a home run. Call it Benji. It is a softball, it is a home run. Call it Benji.
Nice move, Tyler. We're getting... Let's go! Okay, wow, man, I'm excited. I am going to meet with Zaniacs today. I need Zaniacs in my life, and, it's a big one because today in West Michigan, the community of Holland, Michigan, that is the scene at Great Legs Winery, Brewery, Distillery. They're all on pins and needles there because the Zaniacs are coming to town 7 p.m. tonight in Holland, Michigan. I would love to see some new faces and some old faces, too. I've got people traveling from out of town. Oh, my God. This is going to be fun. The Queen of the Forest and myself will be there at around 7 o'clock. When I always say around these days because I can't seem to be able to be on time anywhere. But this time I will. Sampling. I won't be. You will be sampling their amazing products, their wines, their brews, their distilled liquors. What is that? Nobody says it. I'm told it's the grappa. And, for a lot of you've never heard of grappa. And in fact, the folks over at Great Legs have explained to me how you make that. And I'm like, what's going on here? I don't, huh? And it's supposedly just an amazing thing that puts a lot of hair on your wiener or your. So, we'll be hanging out at Great Legs Winery, Brewery, and Distillery. I'd love to see you at 7 p.m. tonight. Okay? I'd love to get Stu McAllister out there. I wonder what the hell he's doing. After a full day of slinging dots. All right. Late in yesterday's show, I discussed the late George Floyd being on Judge Judy. Want to get this out of the way right away on the show, at least on the little setup here for what I'm doing. It appears I was inadvertently misled. Some vetting needs to go into these things. First of all, when you fire them along to me, Danny Porter, and I need to vet them myself, Eric Zane. I can no longer assume, apparently, when you send me stories that they are vetted because it was just so remarkable. I will say this, though, about the George Floyd story, that audio of him. It was still remarkable, though, that this actually happened. I'll get to that. I will fix the mess. Joe Biden accepted the Democratic nomination for president last night. But as you see, if you're watching this on the live stream, Facebook live stream brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, I indicated that 13-year-old Dylan Harrington stole the show, and boy, did he. I'll get into that. Big Dick Donnie Veltman will ferociously swing his big manhood onto the podcast. Thump, 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 thump. With something that he is doing as a fundraiser to raise money for some folks in need. Love this guy. The spirit of one Big Dick Donnie is unprecedented. Even faced with these dire circumstances, as apparently he's had so many struggles since the pandemic. But still, Don doing what he can to help out his community. I love that. I am giving away free Patreon memberships. Yes, I'll give you the details on that. Thanks to Bennett Flooring Installation. I'm not giving them away. I mean, I'm talking about it. But Bennett Flooring Installation is giving them away. And we're one day closer to the launch of my new podcast with Ben Glaze. Some of you may see this on Facebook right now or Twitter, brought to you by Blue Frost IT at Eric Zane Show on Twitter for the Periscope video. And you're like, wait, what? You may not know. Yeah, that's a thing. I'll be talking about that. You want to get the details about what's going on there. I'm really stoked about that. Two Titans battle on an airplane over a mask, of course, and a separate mask-related airline story. Got some follow-up on Tom Brenneman on that fiasco. And another baseball clip where a pitcher, my God, what a klutz. A pitcher wishes. See what I did there? I combined pitcher and wishes to give you pisher. All those years of making fun of poor free beer, now I understand his frustration, why he would get so frustrated when we would make fun of him to his face when he would do that. We would sit there when he would do that and just rub his face in it, just push his face in shit repeatedly whenever he would combine words like that. And it's poetic justice that I do it every day, multiple times a day. In fact, Pellerito, you've probably already done this. You should probably start to accumulate Eric Zane word scrambles so we can feature them here, and then I will, fully apologize to Free Beer for all of those years that I would insult him about word scrambles. I never meant anything by it. I want nothing but the best for him. I've tried to restore the relationship to some degree. By the way, some of you may not be aware, but we do communicate from time to time. It is respectful. It is, that's I think an appropriate way to describe it. It is respectful. We just a little bit of playful give and take. I would say we are still far away from any type of expanding on that relationship, if at all. But at the very least, we are polite and respectful to each other. So that's nice. 50 years old at some point where we'll see. We'll see what happens when that. Taking it easy. Nice and slow. Where was I? I wrote all this shit down. I can barely read my writing. Tom Brenneman, another baseball pitcher wishes he was dead after a horrible in-game catastrophe. What's that dude's name? Jose something or other. Damn it. What is his name? That doesn't matter. But first, I was involved in birthday hijinks yesterday. Here's how yesterday unfolded. This week has been a nonstop slugfest of getting things done podcast-wise, and it's just been no let-up. It's like stuff gets piled on, write it down, got to get that done. And then at about the end of the day, I'm like, okay, it's time to quit. And I'm like, no, I absolutely have to get this bit of work done. This has to happen. And so that's just, the nature of the beast. There's no complaining from me. Never has been, never will be. It's like, okay, this is what you signed up for, and I'll get to it. But occasionally, personal things collide. Other professional things collide. As you know, I drive limo on the side, which has led to enormous moments of show hilarity from the interactions that I have had with people. And frankly, I just love that job. And let me just say, there is a company in West Michigan called Affordable Limousine and Party Bus. The quintessential, tip-top, A1, number one in all of this area. An enormous fleet of terrific buses, trolleys, limousine sedans, Hummers, you name it, they have it. Just look up Affordable Limousine and Party Bus. Real quick, the history of how this company started. Justin is the big swinging dick in charge over at Affordable. Justin, when he was like, I don't know, 18, 19 years ago, thought it would be fun to buy a limousine so that the DD in the group on any given weekend would be able to transport all his drunken friends throughout the area. That's the only reason why he got the fucking thing. Just cruising around this big ass, limousine, big stretch, and his friends are just going banana rolling party. And that's it. And then he'd park it in his parents' driveway, and they're like, Jesus, man, this Justin, this kid's a handful. Well, Justin figured out that when people are like, hey, we got a wedding coming up. Do you think maybe we could work something out? And he realized, fuck, I can make money doing this. And then their company was born. Now, I know that Justin over the years has just worked his way up, adding new vehicles to the fleet, taking care of customers. So this is another one of those businesses that when the pandemic hits, not a thing. Nothing is happening. He lost. Okay, so if there's no pandemic, you have a certain amount of business. It dropped to like 1 or 2% amount of business. So what to do? Well, he's smart. He knows what the hell's up, and he moved a couple shells around and figured it out, and off he goes, and now they're getting back after it. He says to me, yeah, we're about 30, 40, maybe 45% there. As a lot of other limo companies have had to go belly up. Fortunately, Justin is smart about how that business was built, so he was able to shore up certain things and make it happen. So I give you this background of this terrific local business owner because he helps me tremendously. Him and the whole crew, just wonderful. And he employs like all these dudes in the garage. These are the guys I really love. They're there like from, as soon as the sun goes up to late, constantly upgrading he's got like garages in there where they're constantly bringing him in. He's got techs and mechanics repairing his shit. Full-time job to keep this fleet active. So, I'm in and out there all the time doing jobs, driving people around. And I say to him, look, man, my daughter is having a birthday party. And Diana asked me to ask you, is it cool if I steal one of the sedans? He goes, yeah, dude, take it, man. Fuck yes. Just throw some gas in it when you're done, and you're going to drive it, right? You're going to be the driver. I go, yeah, that's cool. That's exactly what I plan on doing. He goes, oh, yeah, dude, do it. This is fucking great. So cool of him to do that. And by the way, Zaniacs, no, I'm not going to do that for you. This is a family, and this is a home run. I would love it. I would love it if I had that flexibility, but one time. So let's just keep it there. Now, if you ever do, when we do get back to going to sports, decide to do that for a Tigers game or a concert, yes, I'm your guy. In fact, I've thought about creating my own Eric Zane show limousine packages where I'm the bus driver for you drunken idiots as we travel to Tigers games or Pistons games or whatnot. That is one day going to happen. So, in fact, I was studying for my license so that I can drive the bus, but the pandemic happened and the Social Security, what do you call it? What is that office called? Social Security? No. Secretary of State's office. That's where you got to go take the test. Everything's all fucked up now. I don't know. It's going to happen one day, but it's on the list of things to do. So, it just so happens that Justin says to me, look, man, yeah, you can borrow it, but look, I got somebody who I need you to pick up and take to the airport. Will you do that before you take the vehicle for the birthday party? I go, well, hell yeah, that's great. So, do my thing, get on my gay magician outfit, head over to the garage, pick up the sedan, off I go, pick up a nice family going on a trip, drop them off at the airport, go. Now it's time for birthday shenanigans. This is a surprise for Madison. She has no idea. I promised Donnie Veltman I would get a hold of him, so let me come back to that story. Hold on a second here. This is how it's going to be today. This is softball. This is a home run. Hold on a second here. Let's bring in Big Dick Donnie.
Hey, Eric.
What up, buddy? How are you?
Pretty good.
Excellent. You're live on the podcast, so I just I wanted to throw that out there. I think I caught Stu McAllister off guard yesterday when I brought him on. So look, Don, can you please tell me a little bit about this event that you're raising money for? This family that you're raising money for, please. What's going on at Howard City Lanes?
It was a couple of months ago, about a month and a half ago, I believe. Trooper Caleb Starr was hit head-on by a drunk driver. He was in the hospital for about 3-4 weeks, and then he passed away. So tomorrow what we're doing is 50% of all of our sales. We're going to open at noon and close whenever people stop coming in. 50% of all the sales go to the family of Caleb Starr to help support their needs. He's got several children, so they've got college needs, all kinds of things that now he's gone. So,
can you tell me, is Caleb close to the community near Howard City? How did you get involved in this endeavor, Don?
Caleb is stationed out of, was stationed out of the Lakeview State Police Post, which is the closest police post to us, which is probably about 9-10 miles away from us. So he was, regularly patrolled in this area. So he was a big part of the community.
Did someone that is even closer to him reach out to you about this whole thing? How did it? How did the ball get rolling on this one, Don?
Yeah, actually, what happened was Kelly Medler, who is a 911 dispatch for Montcalm County, she got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we're doing a fundraiser for Caleb. We're going to be giving away some things, doing a silent auction, raffle type thing. Would you be willing to donate something?" And I said, "Yeah, 100% willing to donate something, but what about this? Something a little bit more." And she loved it, and we just kind of went from there.
Wow. All right. Well, it seems like every time I turn around, Don, there's something cooking. Whether it's a school fundraiser from the comedy things or things going on at Howard City Lanes. So that's great. I just encourage everybody to go out there, make the trip up to Howard City Lanes, see that historic building. It is a historic building, isn't it?
Oh, geez, yeah. It was built like 1880 something. It's you got to see the historic basement for sure. You've been in the basement, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I would love to. The last time I was there was at Bowling Endeavor, and I was amazed by the mechanics of the pin setter.
Yeah, everybody, I think, is surprised when they go back and kind of take a look at how those things work. I think they picture something else in their mind.
Right, because when you're standing at the foul line, you don't see that, and then you go back there, and it looks like something out of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
it definitely is interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit. It can be a little bit dangerous too.
Yeah,
at
it looks.
times.
Now, look, you and I both know that building has more ghosts than people in it. We've talked about that. Do you think anyone's actually gotten caught up in the gears of the pin setter, and their blood is soaked into the freaking alley?
I don't know of anybody that's died in the pin setter, but I don't know if I told you the story that Corey Brown, who owns Rockford, that I nearly took his hand off last year. Like seriously, not a joke. They got pinched in one of the machines, and he could not get it out. I had to, and you couldn't turn the machine on because it was just going to go up more and just take his hand off.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there just yelling at me, screaming in pain. I'm panicking. So I'm trying to find the way to manually take this thing down. So I'm jumping up there and I can't find the thing, and he's yelling at me, "It's right fucking there! It's right fucking there!" So I run over and get it. He's like, "You're taking forever." Finally get it down. He's just laying on the ground. His hand is mangled. And I'm like, "Hey, let's just head to the hospital right now." He's like, "Give me a little bit." And a day later, it starts looking a little bit better. A week later, it was his right hand. A week later, he bowled. The dude's he's like Deadpool or something. It just regenerated.
Corey looks over. He's looking for help, and Don's drawing a sign that says "fundraiser for Corey's hand."
Oh man, I was panicked. I freaked out, and then it didn't help. He's just sitting there yelling at me the whole time, and I'm just. Oh, it was bad.
Oh man, yeah. I think that because you have that doorway right on the side of the alley leading to the back pin area, you should put a sign that says "No one ever allowed in this room." Can you imagine if you're a local businessman who gives a tour of the bowling alley and a whole class falls in the pin setter? Oh man, is right. Okay. Yeah, man. So that's you said at about noon is when the food and the drinks start flying out of the kitchen and the bar to raise money for Caleb's family.
Yeah, at noon. Just to give a little heads up, there will be no bar. When they brought this to me, I said, yeah, let's do this, and I thought about it overnight before I met with her. And
that would be a bad look. That would be bad.
I don't mind giving away 50% of anything. I just didn't feel comfortable given the situation.
I feel dumb for even suggesting it, considering how the gentleman passed. So that makes perfect sense.
So noon food. We close at 8, but if people are still there and want to eat, I'll stay open until 2 in the morning. The more money we can raise for him, the better.
You're a good egg, Donnie Veltman. That's that whole karma thing. It's gonna come back around. I mean, here you are in these in this horrible scenario, and you have been repeatedly sucker punched, and yet here you are doing your thing, doing what Don does. The community is lucky to have you and your family.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it. I appreciate you. I look forward to when we can bowl again. I'll be giving away $25 gift certificates to Howard City Lanes. I've got 9 of those to give away for Patreon members. Today, I'm going to draw those winners.
And I want to thank the donut maker for being one of the people that bought those. So,
Mike Ball is an amazing individual. He dropped some big cash, and then Zaniac Dirk beat me in trivia, and he turned around and said, "I don't want that money. Give it to Don Veltman."
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I can't put into words how much that means to me. So,
yeah, Don, you had indicated to me, we talked about it in the past, how it's it helps as much in a non-monetary way as much as it does in a monetary way.
I think it helps incredibly more than a mental aspect. Financially, it's amazing. Trust me, I need it. Yeah. But it's just difficult. You're sitting there, like you said, you're getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly, and it's tough to really maintain a positive outlook at times. And then when people do stuff like that, that's unexpected and it just kind of pops up out of the blue and you realize people are thinking about you, that means a lot.
Oh man, I've been there. I've been there, and this group is the best at that. So we are truly blessed. So thank you to you, thank you to them, and off we go.
Hey, one last thing: don't read any stories Denny Porter sends to you anymore. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Did he tip his hand about what went down?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah,
he just sends me crazy stuff all the time too. That it's like, I don't think this is real.
Yeah, I feel like such a dickhole for falling for that. So yeah, I'm gonna address the George Floyd thing. What a fucking Jesus, man, son of a bitch! I sat here, and the good news is when I covered the story yesterday, I said, look, this really doesn't have anything to do with the death of the guy, nor am I going to sit here and say, see, he's a loser. I didn't do any of that shit. I was just mesmerized that someone could be that dumb. But
it was Denny that was that dumb.
Fucking Denny.
I hope he's listening right now.
Oh, I know he is. Yeah, the fucking Denny.
I'm gonna get a call in a second for sure.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to beat the shit out of Denny. And I'm kicking
you should call Denny. You should call Denny.
I should. I'm kicking myself too about the whole thing. Denny, hey, look, you fucker, you got to fix this shit for me. If I'm gonna sit here and stew in it, you got to help too. So I'm calling you in half an hour, you cock. All right. Okay, thanks, Don. Eric. Thank you, buddy. There you go, Don Veltman, the one and only Don Veltman. Big fat swinging dick, left to right. Big Dick Johnny. So that means if 50% all the food flying out of the kitchen is going to help that family, wow, that could be substantial, man. So hopefully everybody heads up to Howard City. If you're in the area, or what the hell, make a trip. See the historic building where dude almost got his hand gnawed off in the pin center. Okay, thanks to Don for joining us. I'm not quite done with the Open. I'll get back to that in a second. But part of the Open is brought to you by key sponsors, which I'll get to in just a bit. But first off, don't forget the Insane Asylum on Patreon drops today. What is that? On Patreon, every week, usually, unless I forget, I post my 2-hour music-heavy radio show. I do a radio show for this radio station up north called Q100. It's on 3 frequencies, but it's 100.3 in Grayling, Michigan. It covers all of northern Michigan. And they said, all right, stupid, get in here and play music. So I have a 2-hour radio show, and I feature it commercial-free on Patreon. That's part of what you pay for when you sign up for $10 a month. I got a new episode of The Insane Asylum. I might even owe you the week earlier. I can't remember. Show 53 last week, and for sure show 54 from this week is going to drop. Now, that radio show makes its appearance tonight at midnight on Q100, as it does every week. But when you hear it there, it's obviously it's a radio show, so it's got commercials. On Patreon, it's commercial-free, and it's a lot of fun. I do everything. I record all the music. I ramp records. I do the old DJ thing. And have some fun at the same time. I love doing the Insane Asylum, and I wouldn't even be talking about this had it not been for Zaniac Adam, who actually listens to it on the radio up there. He said, you got to talk about that show more and how fun it is. And he's right. I do. So thank you for that reminder. Adam is the guy, the one who heard the show on the radio, and then because he heard it on the radio, started listening to the podcast and signed up for the Patreon. That was one of the reasons why I did the show on there. And so there's one guy in now 54 weeks of the Insane Asylum. And I love that dude. So thank you very much. Blue Frost IT is a managed IT service provider for all of West Michigan. Now, here's what's up. Their business model has them doing a lot of things. Quick fixes on computer setups. You got a lot of people working from home now. They do that. BlueFrostIT.com. They are a managed IT service provider on a regular basis. They can be like on your payroll as like a contracted employee. You pay them a monthly fee, which is so remarkably affordable. A lot of these businesses have their own IT departments in similar ways, but they get like overcharges if their time is over. Reach out to Blue Frost IT about how they do it on their end, and you'll be like, wow, I can save a lot of money with these guys as my new IT provider, my managed IT service provider. Blue Frost IT, 616-200-8550. There's IT, managed IT service providers all over the place. But I want you to think about Blue Frost IT. They're a sponsor of this show, a chief title sponsor. And what they're doing for the school year as kids are going back to school. And this is how it's going to go for your kids in school. They're going to go to school for about a week and a half, and then the superintendent's going to go, oh, God, there's COVID everywhere. We're going online. This is a bad idea. That's what's going to happen. You might already be choosing to do that with your kids, and more power to you if that's the case. Well, the reason why I bring that up is because your kid's going to be sitting there on your shitbag computer that sucks, and they're going to be like, oh, Dad, everybody's computer is much better than mine, and it's taking me forever to do my homework. I can't even, I go to open up a document. It takes 10 minutes for the damn program to open up. What the hell's going on? I don't know. We can go to Best Buy and drop $1,000. No, fuck that. Call on Blue Frost IT. They'll show up at your house. It's going to take about an hour. They're going to take the old, junky, moving parts hard drive, the disk, the stupid thing that spins, and they're going to throw it in the garbage, and they're going to install a solid-state hard drive. That's going to make things so much faster. There's reasons why. I don't know. I don't know why, but it works. It's better. Install a solid-state hard drive. They'll explain the particulars. Alan's such a nerd. He'll go into great detail as to why it is. So basically, the 1 hour it takes, it actually only takes 1 minute to fix it, but then you got to listen to 59 minutes of Alan's storytelling. 616-200-8550. Sorry, just kidding. 616-200-8550 for Blue Frost IT. My partners in fun, TC Paintball. TCPaintballGR.com. Man, this dude, Rick Steinebach, is so lucky that he had the foresight to build an outdoor paintball facility. Now, he's done it indoors at his Grand Rapids location forever. But then last year, he was like, I want to do an outdoor facility. So he cleared the land and he bought all the necessary netting and obstacles and things like that and was getting ready to go. And then winter comes and he's like, okay, I'm getting ready to set this up. And then the pandemic hits. So he's shut down. He's another one of these businesses that gets shut down. Well, I'm going to use this time to set up the outdoor venue. Well, it comes to pass as things go with the pandemic, outdoor is good. So now he's all set up to push all of his customers outside. He hasn't even used the indoor facility, and thank God, because who knows what could have happened there. This pandemic is tricky business. You don't know what's going to be open or closed from one day to the next. Thank God Rick's outside. Didn't have to worry about it for now, and hopefully we'll see what the next day brings. You got an outdoor airball field, if you will, with the inflatable stuff that you're hiding behind. That game is much quicker. And then the tactical village, which is more of like a Call of Duty room clearing thing. You're like peering around corners, man. Obstacles, all these crates stacked up. It's like playing Call of Duty, for God's sake. So get your buddies together, get your bros or your chicks, and have a paintball party at tcpaintballgr.com. Go to the website, tcpaintballgr.com. And book some time for you and the crew, okay? Love those guys. Now, if paintball's not your thing and you want a real gun, you got to make sure you have a real gun that is in good working order. So I have two gunsmiths who service weaponry on the show. That is BK Guns and Stuff, 616-902-2447. If your weaponry needs to be serviced, refurbished, clean, something's broken, customization, they do it all at BK Guns and Stuff. Click on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. It'll take you right to their Facebook page. More information there. Okay. Sorry, bouncing around a little bit. But I had to get to Don at about 8:30, so I had to put the brakes on one story, get to him. Now I'm going back to the first story. Where was I? Pick up the limousine, head down to the road. Madison has no idea what is about to happen. She thinks that I've gone to work limousine, which I had. And she is going to get some senior pictures taken. Friend of the family, Jen Belgraf, is over. And while I'm getting the limousine, Jen is with Madison, and they're waiting for Diana to come home, which she's not going to, so that they can go travel to a place to get photographs. Meanwhile, I've got the car. I go to, this is all planned by Diana, by the way. This is the expert brain power of one Diana. She's always thinking. While I get into the story, I'll bring the queen of the forest in here, brought to you by Baldwin Ace Hardware. Baldwin Ace Hardware, the kings of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Hello, young lady. How are you?
Good.
You're back in bed.
I got up too early.
You got up too early. All right, well, that's nice. That looks like fun.
I only got a couple more days.
Yeah, you're going back to school.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to have you get into your gut instinct about what's going on in the school because you work for the school. I mean, I have my thoughts about it, but it is kind of strange, though, that, you know, when there was 5 cases in the state of Michigan, all the schools were canceled, and now every day we get hundreds, and you're all going back to school. That's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they just think we have to get back at some point.
And I understand, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I kind of agree. It's like, let's just see what we can do. What a stressful, terrible time if you're an educator. I mean, Think about it. Our pal Tom Tenbrink over there in Jenison, he works very hard. I love that man, by the way. He is just fantastic.
He is. He's taken a lot of, flack, but
yeah, yes. And how about the fact that he worked very hard to just get a millage passed so that he can finally get air conditioning installed in the joint?
Yes, thank goodness, because, of course, it won't happen until next year.
Yeah, I know it. Hey, they should call on Joe Martinez from A&E Heating and Cooling. Can you imagine if he installed, is it all schools? All schools? AC? Holy shit. That is a lot of money raised. My God. Thank God for the taxpayers.
I'm pretty sure it's all the schools. I know it's at least the high school and the junior high. I'm sure it's all the elementary schools too, but in all new ventilation and locks and stuff, I think. I don't remember what it all entails.
Hey, so I want to talk about the birthday party in a second, but I'm also going to talk about that video I played for you at bedtime last night of Dylan Harrington, the 13-year-old kid who stole the show at the Democratic National Convention.
Oh, yeah, his speech?
Yeah, how about that, kid? I'm going to play that, and don't worry, I'm not going to make fun of him. Everybody's like,
no.
I think if you were to corner Eric 10 years ago, Eric would be like, "Yeah, let's get him." But that would just don't worry. I'm not gonna do that.
No.
But people are insulting him right now. I mean,
that's rude. That's rude.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just insane?
It's awful.
I found that kid to be the bravest kid on the planet. You know how much that kid's so brave. You know how much tail he's gonna pull.
Keep freezing up.
Yeah, but you can hear me, right? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, but it keeps pausing for me. Now I can.
You know how much, and he's a good-looking kid. You know how much tail he's going to pull when he gets older?
Oh, my God.
Okay, so I was just giving you credit for coming up with the idea for the birthday party, and you just said, "Hey, can you get me a limo?" Justin agreed to it. How great was that?
I know, that's awesome. What a nice guy.
Yeah, he really is. Justin is the best. I love that man. So then I get the car. And then we go over to a friend of the family's house, and there's how many 17 and 18-year-old girls? 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there.
I think there was 12.
Okay.
12.
All right. So they all
there was 12.
They all pile in. You pile in. They all have the gifts, and then I head over to our house, driving that whole crew to our house. Madison is in there as planned. I mean, you really planned this perfectly. And then Jen is in there, and then you told me I have to get her outside to open the door of the limousine, trick her somehow, and then everybody goes, surprise, and she gets in, and we go party.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go into the house, I go, hey, Madison. She goes, what are you doing here? I go, well, I have a customer who is in the car, and believe it or not, they're traveling with their puppy, and there's a beautiful Siberian Husky in the back of the limousine. You gotta see this. She's like, she buys it hook, line, and sinker. And she goes outside and she's like, oh my God, it's puppy time. Easy picking. And she opens up the door and there you all are. Celebrate.
It was awesome.
Did you know that I almost got in a fight in the parking lot in Grand Haven? Did you know about that?
No.
All right, well, I'm about to tell the audience that. I'm going to ditch you, and I'll tell you about it when I get done with the podcast. But I just want to let you know, good job on that. So, yeah, and you're coming with me?
Why, did someone give you a hard time?
Yeah, absolutely. I did. Somebody did give me a hard time. I'll tell that story to you when I get off of this, when I get done with this, but I'm going to tell them in a second. But are we going to – and they're going to see you tonight at Great Legs, right?
Think so.
What do you mean think so?
I think I'm going.
Well, why would you not? You got something going on?
No, I just gonna stay home with Kevy.
You should bring Kevy. What are you, crazy? It's his coming out party. Just show up there, sign some titties, and
I don't think he'll want to go.
No, one half of the Doobie Brothers. You should bring Kevin and Dave, and bring Davey's urn, and just have Kevin there, and people take pictures with the Doobie Brothers. No, that's too much.
Too heavy. I don't want it to break.
Do you remember when your son Jim opened up your mother's urn?
Yes.
It's a classic story. Been told many times.
It was a classic story. I made him feel bad.
Oh yeah, you did. You told him that because you were wiping up the mantle that it was on, and you noticed it was very
all
dusty and chunks of things. Like, what's going on here? And then you look, and you could see that the sealed lid on your mother's urn was open. It was like it was like uneven. So then you put two and two together that you had the remains on. And then so can you then maybe pick it up? I tell you what, can you then pick it up to when you realize what you had seen, and then tell it the way you always do when you then called Jim?
So I was like, I knew it could have only been Jim, because Jackie was too young, I think, at the time, or Jackie wouldn't have thought about it. You know, Jim's the nosy one.
Right.
Or Ben. So I scream his name. He's up in his room.
Jim!
So I'm like, yeah. So he comes running down the stairs, and I'm like, did you touch that? And I'm pointing to the urn. He's like, complete silence. He's just looking at me with eyes as big as saucers.
Wait a minute. How old is he here? 10?
6th grade. So I think he was in 6th grade at the time. So 11, 12.
Okay. So he's probably only had sex 100 times at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he's just staring at me with those big old eyes, and I'm like, no, seriously, Jim, did you touch that? And he goes, okay, mom. Like he's like he's like in panic mode, like, oh no, how I'm caught. Like, how am I going?
He's trying to think of a lie. That's why he's going, Mom.
Like, how am I going to get out of this? So he's like, Mom. I go, Jim, just speak. Did you or did you not open it? Okay, Mom, listen. It was kind of like that video of Linda.
Yeah, Linda. Listen, Linda.
Yeah, listen. So it's just like that. He's like, Mom, listen.
Right.
Just listen. I go, what? He goes, okay, Mom. I had a temporary lapse of judgment, and I opened it. And I'm like, oh, great, Jim, because I was using one of those like pledge wipe things,
yeah,
so it was like
yeah.
So I like put it in his face, and I'm like, good, Jim. Now your grandma's all over this pledge wipe.
And what did he do?
He's like, oh my gosh, what do we do? I go, well, what do you want me to do?
You scarred him for life. Oh man.
Oh god, that's a classic.
Yeah,
story.
then we took the thing to a funeral home and had them put the lid on it.
Yeah, we had him seal it back up.
Yeah, he was so what do you call it? Curious that he opened the damn thing up, and there it is. Well, all right, fantastic. Okay,
All right. I'll talk to you.
yes, ma'am. All right, thanks.
Okay, see you.
There
Bye.
you go, Queen of the Forest. Thank you, Baldwin Ace Hardware. Madison goes bonkers. All the chicks in the limo. Off we go. The plan is to go to one spot for photographs. It's a great place to take pictures down by Grand Rapids called Blue Bridge. It's awesome. Grand Rapids is a great town, man. That's actually a destination to visit. If you're from out of town, you visit Grand Rapids. It's a wonderful place to hang out. It's become so nice. Just a lot of things to do, even in a pandemic. Very touristy. Then we head off to the lake shore, Grand Haven. I love this place. It's absolutely the best. So you now right along the lake, you've got this state park. And if you go left, you actually go into the park where there's all these campers and RVs set up, and you go right. It's just like a parking lot where people can access the beach area, and there's this long pier that's as you're leaving this channel out into Lake Michigan with this glorious fucking lighthouse. I mean, this is the place for pictures. So this whole crew gets out, and I'm dressed like the gay magician with this enormous limousine. This is the biggest, second biggest car we have. The biggest is the Hummer. And this thing is just really long, big super stretch limousine. All of these people get out, and I go, all right, now I'm staying with the car. And I have no parking spot where you can park it, so you kind of have to have it off of. It's still there. It's not blocking traffic. It's enormous, but it's temporary, and I'm with the car, and then after 10 minutes, we're going to take off. That's it. Okay. Now, this parking lot is packed with cars. There's people pull in, and they just go around, and the hope is they catch someone who's backing out, and then they can get a parking spot. So they just do laps. It's like the Indy 500. So that's happening. And there is the front of the limo has open space, probably 20 to 25 feet tops, maybe more, like maybe less. And then there's an actual parking spot where there is a car. And I'm on the edge of the lot. That car can easily back out and move. In fact, there was a car there when I got there, a guy in a Corvette. He waved at me, and he backed out and left. Immediately, someone came in, took the spot. So it's me, space so that someone can get out, and then the cars that are parked in actual spots. And I'm waiting there. Well, some asshole in a fucking Econoline rape van, I mean, one of those old school ones, real shitty conversion van that, you barely see these things anymore, goes driving, and he passes me slowly, and very close to the limousine. And I'm like, why is this guy very slow? What is he doing? And it dawns on me that he has decided that he is going to wedge his piece of shit rape van in that space between the front of the limousine and the car parked in the spot. Now, okay, I'm parked in a spot that's not a spot, and I'm with the car. People can get by. I am not impeding traffic anyway, in any way. But him weaseling in like this is a disaster waiting to happen. And he's really close to the limousine that's not mine. So now he's passed me, and now he's backing in his rape van into that spot, and he's trying. There's no fucking way you're going to get this thing in there. And even if you did, now you're wedged in there like a fucking sardine. So what the fuck are you doing? Why? Drive around and figure some shit out, but you can't. It turns out, though, he's doing what I'm doing. He's supposedly waiting for someone. Yeah, okay, great, but I'm in an actual area where that's not fucking everything up, okay? I'm off to the side, and you're trying to jam your fucking rape van in between the other cars and me. So he's backing up, and I'm like watching him get closer and closer and closer to the limousine. So I horn him. He rolls down his window and looks at me. I go, here we go. This is it. I roll down, and I go, what are you doing, man? Smartass goes, parking. I go, yeah. You see me, right? He goes, I see you. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm waiting for someone. He goes, so am I. And I go, yeah, but you can't do it there. Why? You're doing it. I go, dude, look at the space. Look at your rape van. I didn't say that. But I'm like, come on. I go, look, man, just be careful, okay? And he kind of gives me the fine. Yeah, fine. I'm actually quite pleased with how this went. Couple of old men yelling at each other. Nobody fought. It didn't get escalated anymore. Then I go, be careful. And then I go, fuck this. I put it in reverse, and I back it up about 10 feet to give this cock some room. It's not my vehicle. I was like, fuck this shit. So this guy actually now, he's weaseled me out of the spot. Like, this is bullshit. But it's not my limousine. I'm not going to jeopardize anything with the sedan. So finally, after a little while, this dick decides he's going to move. I don't know why. And he takes off. Thank God. It's like, holy shit, we cannot have that. Can you imagine if I ended up getting in a fight wearing my gay magician outfit? I mean, seriously. All right, I have a hotline. The Eric Zane Show podcast hotline is 616-209-7797. Hold on a second before I get to that. After the pictures, all the kids got back in. We took off. That is tough to navigate that parking lot. And made it all the way through. Had to back up forward in order to make the turn, get out of there. Thank God. Grand Haven is set up only for like a Mini Cooper. Jesus, this place everything's packed in there. And so then we head back. Ice cream, yes, that's part of the birthday celebration. 3 gigantic fire trucks from Georgetown Township showed up on the scene. Apparently all the fire, I guess the chief decided it was ice cream for the boys. 2 hook and ladder or whatever, these giant pumper trucks show up. One more enormous vehicle shows up. It's me and 3 gigantic fire trucks. The dudes go and get ice cream. It was great. Drop the ladies off. Success. Great party. If you call 616-209-7797, that is the Eric Zane Show podcast hotline. It needs a sponsor. It's basically a place for you to leave me a message with your voice. And I say it even in the greeting when you call it, that what you say will more than likely or could be used on the podcast. So, in fact, I started out doing this way back when, and then I kind of got out of the habit of it, so I figured I'd bring it back. If you ever want to say something and actually have your voice heard, maybe a rant, maybe a point of view, maybe you're calling me a cock, whatever. Doesn't matter, 616-209-7797. Need a sponsor for it. If you got a business, I'll put you on there. I got tipped off that there is another message there that I haven't yet gotten to. I listened to about 1 second of it. It has to do with my trip to California and where I stayed when I was doing kidney testing. Now, this is a reaction video because I've only heard the first 5 words. I don't know anything about this damn thing. So when I hear it, or when you hear it, I'm hearing it for the first time. Hold on a second. I already screwed this up. I started to play and I didn't have the volume up.
Good evening, Eric. This is the manager of the hotel you stayed at last week. We received a request from your wife to investigate your room for evidence of infidelity. And while we did not find any traditional evidence, we did find many questionable and concerning items that we wanted to discuss with you. During our investigation, we found evidence around the room of urine, fecal matter, horse semen, and many large buttock hairs from a gay black man.
What?
And while we support your right to pursue your desires, we do not condone these practices on our hotel property. So please be advised of this in the future. And we'll be sending you a bill for the damages. Take care.
All right, now I remember why I got rid of the hotline in the first place. There you go. I said your wife called looking for evidence of infidelity. 616-209-7797. 0 to 10, I give that a -5. It was horrible. You're fucking dumbass. Please do better going forward. 616-209-7797. So stupid. What the hell is wrong with you? Okay. So much more to get to on this Friday. I'm looking at how much more I have to talk about on this show. And, yeah, I think it might be Rogan length again. I really do. I do cameos, cameo.com/Eric Zane. Go check out my work. I just got booked yesterday. Thank you to the people involved in that one. I don't want to tip anything off yet. I got to get that Cameo hammered out. You basically go there and you hire me. It costs you $15. I wish people happy birthday, happy graduation, congratulations on the job. You retired. You're an asshole. You want me to roast your friend, whatever it may be. Young, old, you give me the direction of what you want me to say, who you want me to address. If you say, hey, go easy on this guy, he's real sensitive, I'll do that. I'm basically, you're the boss. So if you want more information on it, go to cameo.com/Eric Zane. Joe Martinez installs heaters, air conditioners in your home and services them too. That is legendary sponsor A&E Heating and Cooling. 616-516-8579. If you get in the weeds, you can get the old after-hours service call. That does happen from time to time. We're in kind of like a spot. I mean, I know it's going to be hot next week, especially here in West Michigan. But we're now starting to think about, hey, boy, it's in that sweet spot where you can finally let go and turn the air conditioning down for a little bit. I love this time of year. We still get those hot spots, but this is when you can actually save some money, at least for me. But I bring it up because I want you to be thinking about you're going to be using your furnace before too long. So make sure you think about Joe Martinez for a furnace tune-up. 616-516-8579 and anything else. I mean, earlier this year, I lost a compressor. Joe installed that thing expertly, and off you go. A&E Heating and Cooling, utilizing the Comfort Maker brand of products, air conditioners, furnaces. Comfort with confidence. That is the Comfort Maker, teamed up with Joe Martinez. Got an RV dealer in town. I got guys that fix RVs, and I got guys that sell RVs. So can you imagine if you bought the RV and then like the day you take it out for the first time, you hit a deer? Oh my God, you'd feel like such a dick. Well, then you take it over to the guys to get it fixed at Metalworks. But if you buy it, if you're thinking about buying, I want you to buy it from Terrytown RV. Please mention my name there and with all of my sponsors. TerrytownRV.com is their website. Reach out to them, terrytownrv.com, and you can go and take a look at the terrific established product line. Campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels. Oh, just so fantastic. Thank you to them. Very, very cool of you to be on board with the show. And you can even do it where you pick one out online. They call you and you're like, oh man, I really like this thing. Hey, well, why don't you come and see it, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so? Yeah, well, we're all worried about COVID. Well, that's okay. We're going to have it towed right to the front of the lot. You walk through it at your leisure. What? You do that? Yeah, that's how we do it. TerrytownRV.com. They're on division between 68th and 76th Street. And last but not least, it's Denny Porter from A&D Cleaning. You can call Amy at 616-550-3644. Amy and Denny, husband and wife team. Amy is the business. She's the eye candy and the one who does all the work. Denny is the egomaniac who wants his name on the sign, who nearly got me canceled for his George Floyd horse shit. I'll call him in a second. It's coming, Denny. It is coming. Anyway, call Denny's better half, Amy, at 616-550-3644 to get your house cleaned. 2 days ago on Messenger, I see, Zane, you got to check this out. And I'm like, what? What's going on? What's so important? Yeah, it's video that's going around that, and it's kind of my fault. Well, it's a lot my fault, but I wouldn't have known about it if it hadn't been for Denny Porter. Denny forwarded a video. It's titled Lil George Floyd, age 16, with Judge Judy. In fact,
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Floyd has been sworn in. You may be sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Floyd, you're not going to make any excuses for him, are you?
No.
All right, let me I'm going to jump through a little bit of this. You see this guy, George Floyd, and after what Denny wrote, it's like, this, holy shit, I can't believe it. This has been going around that George Floyd, before he was killed on the streets of Minnesota, was on Judge Judy years ago. Now, I had heard that Floyd had a lot of issues with the law, so I was like, well, this makes sense, all right, you know? And here you got 16-year-old George Floyd and his father. Judge Judy's giving this kid the business because this 16-year-old carjacked some lady, George Floyd did, and then while he was getting chased by the cops, he crashed the car. The lady is suing him on Judge Judy to get the car fixed. And this entitled fucking brat is like, I shouldn't have to fix the car. Why? Because it's not my car. Well, wait, yeah, but you crashed it. Well, I crashed it because the police were chasing me. So he's got this weird warped view of the world. And so there has been this established narrative like, see, lefties, this is the asshole that you're hanging your hat on. See, he was a fucking clown, George Floyd. And they had been using this as a jumping off point to say terrible things about him. Now, when I talked about it on the show, I did say that, well, that's all bullshit. I mean, it's apples and oranges here. It has nothing to do with this. You're just using something from this kid's past to paint him in a negative light to indicate that it's okay that he was killed on the street, that he wasn't such an angel. You're building this narrative. And so a lot of people are jumping on board with this. And then so Denny fucking shares this thing with me, and like an idiot, I take him at his word. And in fact, here's a little bit more of how ridiculous this kid is in his thought process.
Since it wasn't my car.
Hey, hold on.
Police barrier, they caught me.
And?
They took me out of the car and arrested me.
Did you crash the car?
Yes.
You left that out. Who's supposed to pay for that?
I guess I am, but since it wasn't my car.
If it was your car, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
So who's supposed to pay for her damaged car? Whose fault is it?
Denny.
Well, it's my fault for crashing her car, but I shouldn't have to pay for it.
Why?
Because I was the driver and I would never crash if the police were getting away.
So it's the police's fault.
Yes.
It's the police's fault for chasing you.
Yes.
Look at your father. Look at your father. You think it's the police's fault?
No.
Good. How old are you?
16.
All right. How fucked up is this that George Floyd is murdered on the streets in Minneapolis, and then in the past, a black guy named George Floyd was involved in this shit, and it's become a snowball of misinformation. So Wednesday night, I get this. Lil George Floyd, age 16, with Judge Judy. I respond, oh my God, you mean this is the same guy? Apparently it was. So I wrote, holy shit, what a fucking dipshit. Man, what a mess. Denny says, I can't believe it. I know, this is crazy. I'm like, well, this is insane. So yesterday I was like finishing up the podcast. I was like, I wonder if I should play that. There was some alarms going off in my head, and I didn't really listen to them. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this. Can you believe this is George Floyd? And then I did say that this is more of an example of just a kid being stupid. It has nothing to do with what happened. And so I did talk about that. I didn't go down the road of indicting him or going after Black Lives Matter or any of that shit. It was all just, I did say that if this were any other kid, I would still play it because it's so ridiculous how entitled that 16-year-old is. It's not him. It's a different George Floyd. Fuck. Zaniac, let's see, who was it? I think it was Joe. Joe Morin was the first one to say, dude, not the same guy. And I'm like, oh, no. Hell, Zaniac Kevin even did the show.
The clip of the day.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's happening? The clip of the day.
Hey, everybody. George Floyd. Eric Zane talked about him. Here's the
clip of the day.
He even did clip of the day on Zaniac's Global on YouTube. So I'm like, fuck. This is ridiculous. And then another email. Schaefer sends me one saying, hey, man, wrong guy. I go, I know. I just fucking heard it. Everybody's killing me over this shit. I'll address it on the podcast. Big Dick Donnie just referenced that his partner in crime, Denny Porter. Amy's probably shaking her head at this fucker for misleading me. Let's get him on here. Denny, you better not be a pussy and not be part of this. If I got to soak in it, you do too. You're the one who led me to the frickin' river to take a big drink. Come on, Denny. Oh, are you serious? Come on, man.
Your call has...
Oh, yeah, of course. Hang on. I got one more shot at this. Don got a big kick out of it, by the way. Big Dick Donnie knows Denny. He's actually the one who got me in touch with him to get on the podcast. It's all an accident, and thank God nothing really got off the rails on this, other than just misinformation being spread, which I'm trying to squash that now. Not the same George Floyd.
Hi.
Damn it! Everybody's bugging out. All right, Denny, call me back. I gotta beat the shit out of you. But good, over the George Floyd disaster. Still, though, if you're the dad of this 16-year-old at the time who did this shit, oh my God, he's probably still alive to this day. I mean, you got to change your name, right? You're the second most famous George Floyd in the world today. Not changing your name because it's the same as the guy because he died, but because now everybody's been reinvigorated to how stupid you are. How dumb is that guy? I'm kind of happy that this dumb fuck in the Judge Judy video is still alive so that I can call him a worthless piece of shit. At least he was. I don't know. Maybe he grew up, but he sure as fuck was worthless in that clip. What a little dick. Yeah, I was cold while I was walking home, so I decided to steal this woman's car, knocked her down, took it. Oh, by the way, I smashed the car and I shouldn't have to pay for it. The dad, George Floyd Sr. in the Judge Judy, I'll bet you he kicked so much ass on that kid. Oh, God, rightfully so. Do it more. Pain in the ass. All right. So that should pretty much settle that right down. Not the same guy. Note to self, if Denny sent you any story leads, hire an investigative team to try to explore it. We could come up with a name for Denny regarding his erroneous information, some type of nickname. If we got, usually the nicknames happen because of something about the personality, something about something they've done. Boring Dean, for example, Patriot Nick. These are all how the names are born. Big Dick Donnie, his enormous dick. Jesus, Denny's got to have a nickname. If you have any suggestions on Denny's nickname, please send them along. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Periodically, I throw out the email so that you can send me emails during the podcast. Email presented by my friends over at greencleantechnologies.com. Zaniac Will on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. Patreon tiers. Rodney writes, Zane, you should at least go to $12 on the tier for the podcast with Ben. That is well worth it, and your costs are going up with paying Ben, says Rodney. Nah, can't do that. No, it's going to stay the same. More on that, more on Patreon and Ben coming up in the show. But there is zero price increase. No, the idea is bring more people to the party. And for what that does is that bolsters the existing base of $5 and $10 subscribers. They are being rewarded for being in on the ground floor with no price increase, and they get more. So that would make it something that they would not want to get rid of and make it more of a priority to make sure that it stays that way. And then for new people who I kind of like Zane, but it's just all right. This would be enticing for them to go down the road of being a sign up on the $5 or $10 level. So that's where I'm thinking on that. I think at the end of the day, it allows just another thing to happen on the podcast positively. Ben is engaged and brought on board. He gets something for his time. And maybe if you think it's worth it, you'll sign up at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate that. But no, not looking to gouge anybody on this deal. Oh, I love what Tyler's thinking. Just simply, this is perfect. Fake news Denny. Fake news Denny, Denny fake news. What is easier to say? Denny fake news or fake news Denny? Fake news Denny, Denny fake news. Denny fake news sounds more like a mob name. Denny fake news. Like Jimmy 2 times. Denny fake news. I like Denny fake news. Fake news Denny. I think they're interchangeable. They'll work out. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Reach out, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Hold on. I got to pre-read this one. This is Zaniac. Emailer Tim writes, Hey, Zane. Glad to hear you're acting more and more like the sleazy leftist you pretend not to be. You sit on your high horse telling everyone to shut up, wear the mask, and be socially distant, while at the same time you cram 30 people into a limo. Is that your new tagline? Do what I say, not what I do. Keep up your activism. Signed, Emailer Tim. Well, all right. It's hard for me to talk my way out of that one. I will tell you that what you don't know is that you do not get into an affordable limousine without wearing a mask. That is true. Every single person in there wears a mask, including the driver. You wear that at all times. So there. And other than that, being together like that is not illegal right now. We are breaking zero rules, dick face. So shut the fuck up. There you go. What do you think about that? I'm right and you're wrong. Tim says, same guy, disinformation Denny, dumbass Denny, dirtbag Denny, Dennis the dumbass. I don't know. I like Denny fake news better. Okay, where am I? I covered the George Floyd incident with Denny fake news. Okay, last night, DNC, Biden accepts the nomination. So that's it. DNC ends. You got the virtual thing. Somebody pointed out, and I agree with this. I think it was what's the governor of New York? Cuomo. He was on the Today Show today. He goes, you know how hard it is to have, because when Biden did speak, he didn't fuck up. He didn't say anything stupid. He didn't smash any words together that don't exist. Biden, looking into a camera and delivered the speech, and he actually did quite well. I thought he did a good job in delivering it. I mean, in terms of saying the words appropriately. Because I was hoping and praying he would get in the weeds, because I think it's hysterical when he does that shit. But he didn't. He did a good job. And somebody pointed out that it was Cuomo that, that's not easy to do. And believe me, he's right. If you're staring into a camera without anybody reacting to what you're saying isn't the easiest thing in the world. But imagine pull it off. So, all right. Now, as you know, I'm not that guy to sit there and pick apart or and tell people that they're fucked up on their politics. It's just not my thing. I am, first of all, not equipped to do so. And I just find it too damn tedious and shitty. However, there is one thing that stands out to me on the DNC, and I saw it when it happened. And what you got here is this kid, I don't know what part of the nation he lives in. He's a 13-year-old, and his name is Dylan Harrington. And typical to any of these conventions, you're going to have people that are throwing their hat in and supporting. You had Steph Curry and his wife saying, "Go Joe Biden," and they shot this dumb skit with their kids. It was terrible, and everything's really awkward and screwed up. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is there hosting it, and her jokes aren't landing. And she looks great, by the way, but they did what they could with the pandemic, so whatever. I'm guessing people who like the Democrats loved it. Those who hate it want to shoot holes in it. I don't care. But what I did react to was this kid. All right. Now, 50-year-old Eric is going to take it the way it's going to sound right now. 40-year-old Eric might have gone a different way. Thank God I'm not the asshole I was. But still, I found this to be just incredible. 13-year-old Dylan Harrington gets up there. And this is a pre-recorded thing that they played. But just to be out into the world like this, with this causing him, well, he stutters. He has a stuttering issue. And this is the kid's story, and he explains why he likes Joe Biden, okay? And I think it's important to play this because it also illustrates the fucked up nature of politics, because all these cocksuckers are like throwing this kid under the bus and saying shitty things about him, and they fucking suck. Listen to this kid.
Hi, my name is...
And you will hear him stutter. It's but him to have the balls to do that, knowing he is going to do something that's going to make that you don't hear every day. That takes a hell of a lot of courage. I give this kid all the credit in the world.
Hi, my name is Brayden Harrington, and I'm 13 years old.
I've already fucked it up. A Denny fake news type of moment. I called him Dylan Harrington. I think he said Brayden Harrington, so my apologies.
Hi, my name is Brayden Harrington, and I'm 13 years old. And without Joe Biden, I wouldn't be talking to you today. About a few months ago, I met him in New Hampshire. He told me that we were members of the same club.
You're full of shit.
Hold on. Let me
Same
back
club.
I'm throwing in Biden clips.
You're full of shit.
As he's talking, which is probably going to get somebody pissed
In New
off.
Hampshire. He told me that we were members of the same club. We stutter. It was really amazing to hear that someone like me became vice president. He told me about a book of poems by Yeats he would read out loud to practice. He showed me how he marks his addresses to make them easier to say out loud. So I did the same thing today. And now I'm here talking to you today about the future, about our future. My family often says when the world feels better before talking about something normal, like going to the movies. We all want the world to feel better. We need the world to feel better. I'm just a regular kid, and in a short amount of time, Joe Biden made me more confident about something that's bothered me my whole life. Joe Biden cared.
Look, Fat.
Imagine what he could do for all of us. Kids like me are counting on you to
Look, Fat. Look, here's the deal.
elect someone we can all look up to. Someone who cares. Someone who will make our country
Just a rude person you are.
and the world feel better. We're counting on you to elect Joe Biden.
All right. Good job, Brayden. I thought that was awesome. The kid crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. And say what you will about the politics of it all, but at the end of the day, you're going to get people vote for one side and people vote for the other. He likes Biden. The other kid somewhere in America likes Trump. If that's what it takes. And, here's the thing. On that clip, the comments are, oh, yeah, they're just wheeling him out. This is shameful, cringe. This is terrible. Fuck you. That kid is awesome. There's no way in hell I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. And I hope his guy loses. But good on Biden for embracing that kid and treating him like a human being. That kid, to have the nerve, the balls of steel to stand in front of the nation, millions of people watching him, that kid knows, okay, that a huge amount of people are going to rip him a new asshole. Don't think for a second that he gets up there thinking that everybody is going to wrap their arms around him. He knows how he sounds. He knows he has those moments where he stammers and stutters. He knows that dickheads are going to blast him a new one and insult him to his face. To have that nerve, holy shit, that is something. I found that to be really, really fantastic. Good for him. Here's the thing, though. There was a couple things that went through my mind as he does it. Do you think there may have been a scenario where he read it the first time and he did it flawlessly, like there was no stutter, and then everybody's looking around going, oh, shit, you got to do it again. Why? I did it perfect. Yeah, I know, but we actually need you to. Well, you tell me. This is the first time in his life the kid's ever done something at length without having any stammering and stuttering. He feels fantastic about it, and they go, "No, we actually need you to stutter." Oh no, fuck you guys, shit. So secretly, I was hoping that Biden, when he did his speech, he would have one of those moments where he gets in the weeds and he's like, where he can't, first of all, I didn't know that Biden stuttered. I just thought that he gets lost and has those gaffes and those weirdo moments where he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But, he didn't do anything like that. His speech was golden. He performed flawlessly. I loved the kid. And I love the fact that people would treat him with respect. That took a lot of nerve. And, kids are still kids and they will still be assholes. And there's going to be an asshole kid who makes fun of them going back to school now in New Hampshire. That's going to happen because kids are assholes. But I think they're less assholes now than what they were. I honestly believe that. I think that there is less bullying these days than when I was growing up. Now, seeing that kid reminds me of a story that I've told before that's going to make you hate my dad. My dad used to be one of the biggest dicks on the planet. He's not now. He's 87 years old. You become less of an asshole, I think, when you get older. And he would never remember this. But I remember this. This was a traumatizing thing. Fuck. My dad was not Joe Biden. My dad was a drunken idiot. And this is probably 1976. Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I met my friend Matt in second grade. So that would be probably 7. I was probably 7. So I'm guessing this happened in 1977. And I'll never forget it. It was my mom and dad were still together. And Matt, my very dear friend, he has a stutter. And at the time, it was much more pronounced. And it's gotten, it's not nearly an issue now like it was then. But we're just little kids playing there. And my dad is working on a car. I remember working on a car. And Matt and I are playing in the yard. He is not involved in this. It's just Matt and I playing. We're like, they're playing catch like kids do, 7-year-old kids. And Meathead, let's see, if I was 7, how old would that make him? Because right now I'm 50. He's 37 years older than me. So that would make him 44, right? God, he was old when he had me. Shit. Okay, so 44-year-old man. And I'm having a conversation with Matt, and every time I'm talking to Matt, Matt stutters. My dad put down his tools. This is so bad. Please don't hold it against him now. He would not do this now. No one would do this now. This is so bad. You're going to hate him for a period of time, and it's okay. I want you to flush it, though, at the end of the podcast. I hope to God Matt doesn't remember this, but my dad walked up to him and goes, and starts like doing an impression of him, like to his face. What the fuck? And I'm like going, what is going on here? And that's all I remember. The images and the sound of the memory. It's gone at that point. But that actually happened. Oh my God. Oh, and the fact that I remember that, it's really remarkable. Thank God that that did not happen to this kid. This kid sounds so adjusted. I'm excited for that kid's future. Brayden Harrington, well done. You did a hell of a job. Okay. Biden accepts his nomination. Off he goes. You got Harris, Biden, Harris, whatever. I'll let you all sort it out. You vote accordingly to what your heart tells you. The Republican National Convention starts Monday. I don't even know where that one's happening. North Carolina? I don't know. I'm picturing it to be the opposite of the Democratic one, where everything is socially distanced. I picture them all like crammed into a stadium with like Lee Greenwood and maybe like Leonard Skinner coming out of retirement. It's just a big blowout. Everybody's smashed in together. No masks. Ugh. Holy shit. No, I think it's got to be a lot of the virtual things too. I'm anxious to see the coverage of it because, as you know, with the mainstream media, they love Biden. They love the Democrats. So, this is front and center to the world. Oh, my God, this is the greatest thing going. And I wonder if you're going to get the same level of fairness. Well, they won't. I mean, come on. But even just scrolling through Twitter, when Biden speaks, ABC, NBC, CBS, they like lift a portion of his speech and like tweet it out as it happens with like words about it. Biden says this, this, and this, and then there's another tweet sent out. It's remarkable, the blanket coverage of it. And it should be that they have the same amount of fervor covering the RNC. Probably not, but I'm anxious to see how it goes. All right. So that was a big moment. Let's see. What did I mean by that? What is when I write review the podcast? What the hell does that even mean? I'm not even sure. All right, more coming up about the podcast with Ben. I do have information. If you're new to this, you'll be like, wait, what's going on? And also a chance for you to win a free Patreon membership. That's coming up. I've got more baseball. Jesus, that all on the way. I have a great, great team that fixes cars. It's Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, 616-532. 6600. If you are in West Michigan and you don't have anybody to fix your car, this is who I want you to call upon. Please mention my name. Asians, domestics, and of course, European models are repaired at Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. And if you got a hybrid, that's where you take it, man. Hell, the dealerships take it that way. When they get in the weeds, they head over to Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. Don't just take my word for it. Go to their website, irvines.com. Look at all the great reviews that they get. They are the best. Sometimes it's tricky business. That's like heating and cooling. You're like, who do you trust? Do I just look up anybody in the phone book and go with them? No. Trust me. Okay, my clients deliver. I never get calls saying, hey, I had a hard time with this client. You know why? Because they know that if they do something that isn't on the up and up, that I'm going to murder them. No, that's not true. They just do a great job. Love Irvine's. Okay, and as I mentioned, the kings of DIY awesomeness in the Northland, Baldwin Ace Hardware. If you're going up north, don't head to the big box store. Get everything you need at Baldwin Ace Hardware in the beautiful community of Baldwin, Michigan, nestled on the edge of the Manistee National Forest. Thank you to Baldwin Ace Hardware. Emailer Tim is taking it the route that I would expect him to. He writes, Joe Biden said we're part of the same team as we both like to sniff girls' hair. What the hell?
Just a rude person you are.
He writes, Biden and the kid. Same guy writes, a few months ago, Joe Biden had me rub his leg hair. You see, that's where it gets off the rails. Tim leans right. He's a righty, okay? Hell, I lean right, but I'm not a dumb twat like Tim is. Fuck stick goes ahead and takes it there after such a great moment. Why can't you just leave it alone? I do. You don't see me saying that shit about Biden. This is why I win. People who love Biden love me. They think, man, that fucking Zane, he's got his act together. He's voting for Trump, but yet I don't care because he doesn't destroy Biden like a fucking idiot like Tim is. What an asshole. Thank you, Tim, for emailing on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. Tim's had more emails read on this show, on this podcast, than he ever did on BBL because I'm hard up for fucking material, frankly. And on BBL, I was like, I don't want to read this dipshit's shit. So here you go, Tim. You're front and center. Congratulations. Good job. All right. I've got free Patreon memberships to give away. I just heard from Jacob Bennett. Him and his cousin Jason are busy installing floors at Bennett Flooring Installation. He goes, man, I got a great idea. What is it? He goes, I'm going to throw some dough at you. Go ahead and sign, let's see. Let's sign 10 people up to 2 months of Patreon. I go, okay. He goes, yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll send you the money. I'll take care of it. And then you just sign him up. I go, all right, the guy's such an ass kicker. It's done. So if you're listening to the free podcast, good news. Next Friday, 10 of you are getting 2 months of Patreon for free. So this is cool. All you have to do is send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. On the subject line, it must say free Patreon. If it does not say free Patreon, I can't use it. What I mean is because they're all going to roll in. There's going to be hundreds that roll in between now and Friday. When Friday rolls around, I'm going to search the email by text, and I'm going to search free Patreon, and they're all going to open up. So you must send an email that says free Patreon in the subject line. That's all you need to do. because I've got your email and your name. If your email is not in, if your name is not included in your email, include your name so that I can put you in the drawing. I reach in, I pull names out, and then you would win 2 free months of Patreon because of Bennett Flooring Installation. That's awesome. So 10 people will get Patreon free next Friday. All right. We are one day closer to the new podcast with Ben. It launches for free right here on Friday, September 4th. It will be streamed on all of my platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, for the world to see us in the studio. We will take that recorded audio and we will post it for you to listen on demand at ericzaneshow.com or wherever you get podcasts. Stitcher, CastBox, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, if that's a thing. Shit, there's streams that I've never heard of that carry the podcast. Hold on a second. I'm going to see them all. ericzaneshow.com. Boy, do I need to find those glasses. I still can't find my fucking glasses, man. And that's probably the easiest way to subscribe to the audio podcast. As you know, I get internet points however you consume it. And I suggest that you do it. Subscribe to all of them if you can. I get an internet point for each one of those. But also subscribe to YouTube, Twitter, and, of course, on Facebook. All right, I'm on Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Overcast. Is anybody listening on Overcast? Radio Public. What? Spotify, Stitcher, and on the TuneIn app. There's probably more, too, that I don't even know of. But the predominantly people sign up on Apple Podcasts. Now I know what I meant when I wrote review the podcast. A lot of these podcast apps, you can review the show. And I get even more internet points when you throw a review at me. Now, I think on one I have like 350 reviews. Now, a lot of these podcasts, what they do is they make fake accounts and then they review their own podcast. And then their numbers go, like their analytics go through the roof. Like I know of a show based here in Michigan that actually does this. They farm out friends and make fake accounts and review their own podcast repeatedly. So you get a show that is poorly attended like mine that is gaming the system by bloating their numbers, and they rank in like the top 200 on Apple Podcasts. It's the oldest trick in the book. Apple Podcasts is such a stupid way of their rankings that all you have to do is cheat that way, and you can do that. But I don't have the manpower or the means to do that, but I can ask you to actually review my podcast. If you do that, it does help me. It gets me more attention among other media sources to be able to maybe reach out to me about sponsorship, and I don't even have to pick up the phone. Hey, will you promote Purple mattresses? Yeah, sure. We'll pay you cents on the dollar. Great. So however you listen to the podcast, if you can review it, throw 5 stars at me. I like how they do this on Who Are These Podcasts. They say, throw 5 stars at me and then rip us a new asshole in the comments. You can do that if you like, or actually say something nice. Do it. You know what? I take that back. I'm too much of a delicate flower. I'll cry. Say something really nice about me in the comments. I'm too much of a pussy to see something that is going to break my heart, man. I don't have balls of steel like Brayden Harrington standing in front of America despite his stutter and hitting it out of the park. You know what the Cincinnati Reds should do? They should hire Brayden Harrington to be the new play-by-play guy after the Tom Brenneman disaster. More on that in a second. All right, so as I said, one day closer to the podcast for Ben, and man, I'm really stoked about this. We're coming up with our plan of what we want to do, and I think it's kind of like Ben. I think we might even start that first podcast without a real idea of what the fuck we're supposed to do. So that first month of September is probably going to be like, well, I guess we're figuring this out before we push it over to Patreon. It will be a Patreon-only thing. So if you have subscribed to Patreon, you're in. That's it. Now, the $5 a month folks on Patreon, they get like just the audio of everything. The $10 podcast, you get all of the audio and all of the video too. And you get a lot with those live streams on the video. That's, kind of fun because usually what they're saying on the live stream, the comments, I look at them quite a bit, not as much as I do on this podcast. And because it's much more loosey-goosey. There's usually only like 10 or 15 people watching that live stream. So basically, it's seeing them make fun of me and me telling them to fuck off. And then Kenny says something that pisses me off, and then I call his ass and fucking rip him a new one. You should have heard what he did to me yesterday. Oh, my God. This dude has no sense of how to keep a conversation moving. Sweetest guy in the world. Do anything for you. But he had a conversation with me yesterday where he told me something about ship shopping. And I said, okay, thanks, man. I appreciate the info. And then he said it again. I said, okay, man, thanks for the info. And then he probably said it 5 more times, slightly different. And I finally had to say, okay, hey, I got it. Good to go, man. Oh, that's how it goes on the Patreon bonus podcast and the live stream. So if you're interested, man, it would really help me, and you help out Ben. Ben's getting paid for it. This is a good thing. It's all good. And it premieres for free before we push it to Patreon September 4th. That's a Friday night live at 7 p.m. right here in this studio. But I want you to sign up for Patreon now so that you don't forget, so you have it ready to go and you don't miss anything 1 month down the road. Thank you. Okay. I need to unpack this Tom Brenneman again. Not so much the same thing on Tom Brenneman, but let me recap for you. Brenneman, Cincinnati Reds broadcaster, thinks his mic is not on. Says F rhymes with bag when referring to a place. I can only guess he was hearing someone say, yeah, the team's going to take a road trip to this town soon, Tom. And he's having a conversation. They don't know. He doesn't know the mic is on. And then he refers to wherever this is, I guess. I'm assuming. I don't know. He hasn't said. It's the F rhymes with bag. What are the F rhymes with bag capitals of the world? Pauses. Well, Reds pregame live.
One of the fag capitals of the world. Reds Live, the pregame show presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing.
How'd you like to be Ray Sinclair Roofing in that one? What? You just said F rhymes with bag, and then 3 words later, you said Ray Sinclair Roofing? That makes me wonder if I wonder if Ray Sinclair Roofing has made a statement about that. Check it. Ray Sinclair Roofing. Click news. Nothing. Ray Sinclair Roofing, Tom Brenneman statement. No, it doesn't really say anything. We at Ray Sinclair Roofing do not support Tom Brenneman's assessment about that location, wherever it was in America. And then the unsettling moment when the camera is on Brenneman as he talks about leaving. I've got to leave. I'm very sorry that I got caught. I'm very sorry that I got busted. I'm sorry to the guy who signs my checks. And a lot of people pointed out after the fact, this is when it gets rough for Brenneman because now you got all the armchair quarterbacks that have had time to process what he says. And somebody said, I heard somebody say, yeah, but he's not even saying sorry to the gay people. Okay, he's not saying sorry to anybody who is who he could really offend by that. Listen to this.
Myself and think of myself.
And then while that's going on, Castellano hits like an 800-foot home run.
As a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
This is all your fault.
I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my
I chased him down and whooped his ass.
bosses at Fox. I want to apologize to the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am.
Oh,
that is
bullshit.
not who I am.
Yes, it is.
It never
You
has.
said it. Yeah, it is who you are. You did it when you didn't know you're being recorded. So that's such bullshit. And I'm kind of ripping shit off because I heard other people say the same thing. It might have been from this article I'm going to read you. It is who you are. You said it, and you didn't know you're being recorded. But that you did say it. So what the fuck? How can you say it's not you? Again, I don't think he's hateful. I think he just said a stupid thing. I think he would be better served to not be this way about it. If he would just say, dude, when you don't know you're being recorded or you're on the air, you're going to do whatever you can at times to make people laugh and say stupid shit. That's what I did. And I would say it just like that. I'd swear it. Say, ladies and gentlemen, my career just ended, but fuck this shit. I was only being a dumbass.
Okay. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that can back that up.
Crickets.
I am very, very sorry, and I beg
That was dumb.
for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
I'm a lesbian.
Okay. The aftermath. He's doubled down on his apology, Tom Brennan. So I'm just going to kind of pick and choose off this article here, and then comment from it, like I like to do. Excuse me. One of the most remarkable aspects is from Awful Announcing. One of the most remarkable aspects of that whole thing is how Brenneman's various apologies have not addressed what he said and why he said it. So we're missing the context. That started with his on-broadcast apology during the second half of the doubleheader, interrupted by a home run, and it continued with his apologies to The Athletic publication and the Cincinnati Enquirer. And even with Brenneman losing his national NFL on Fox job this year, I don't know what happened with that, and being suspended from his Reds job, he hasn't necessarily discussed why what he said was so problematic. I'm not even sure how he lost his NFL job. I don't think it wasn't anything like that for that, was it? Here's what he told C. Trent Rosencrans of The Athletic. Quote, I have never in my life, not for 1 second of my life, have I been homophobic. I actually believe that. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that just because you make a crack like that makes you homophobic or full of hate. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I just don't think that way about people. Now, if he turned around and continued to do it, well, yeah. Have I been racist? Have I been any of those words that are terrible, terrible words? He told The Athletic. And I would stand next to any LGBT person in the world and lock arm in arm with them, that they have all the same rights as every other person born on God's green earth. Okay. Awful Announcing continues. Let's see. Who is the writer on this? Andrew Buchholz. Yeah, well, as many pointed out, there was at least 1 second Wednesday where Brenneman wasn't very publicly homophobic. And his apology in a letter. See, yes, that's bad. Yes, he should be fired. But though it sounded homophobic, I still don't believe Tom Brenneman is a homophobe. You got to do a lot to be called a real racist, a real homophobe. I mean, those are terrible, terrible things. You can say racist shit and being an idiot. Hell, comedians do it all the time. Rappers do it all the time, say racist shit. White guys say racist shit all the time. They're not necessarily all racist. You can say homophobic shit. You can say terrible things. That doesn't make you one of them. You know, really, seriously. Happens all the damn time. His apology in a letter to the Inquirer Thursday didn't exactly admit much wrongdoing either. This is where it might get a little weird for the guy. I could try to explain it or tell you about who I am and what I believe, but those things would all be excuses. 2-2 pitch to Castellanos. The simple fact is what I said was wrong. I use a word that is both offensive and insulting. In the past 24 hours, I have read about its history. What? You mean to tell me he went F-A-G wiki? Is that what goes on there? I mean, seriously? I had no idea it was so rooted in hate and violence. Well, that's a lie. You are just lying there. And I am particularly ashamed that someone who makes his living by the use of words could be so careless and insensitive. It's a word that should have no place in my vocabulary, and I will certainly never utter it again. All right. Who didn't know that was a terrible thing? I mean, come on, man. They continue to write this. Buck Holtz writes, on some levels, yes, it is positive that Brenneman now recognizes the issue with what he said Wednesday, even if he didn't expect that his comments there would be broadcast, but his apologies still illustrate that he didn't have much of a clue of what he was doing. Problematic for someone who makes his living by the use of words. And they don't go all that far. And he really doesn't appear to understand why his usage of FAG was so problematic in the first place. Well, yeah, he does. Come on. You see, you're picking this shit apart too much. He's not a homophobe. He said a homophobic thing, and he should be fired. And playing dumb and making up scenarios and acting like you don't know the meaning of the word is just stupid. And then this whole diatribe that you're writing about him, that's stupid too. Let's not make this more complex than it is. Idiot guy said something dumb on a hot mic. That's it. Still, there are some arguments out there that it might work out in the long run for Brenneman to demonstrate a commitment to growth and retain his Reds job. Whoa! This is being talked about how he may have somehow managed to do this. Made fun of pants. Fired. Pants. Yeah, Jill's walking around in his dungarees looking like a moron. Got to fix his shitty shot clock. Can you believe that? Here, can we have a word? We're tired of your rage. We're tired of you being a pants fun maker. Pants! Sid Ziegler, who spells his name, I think it's Sid. Is that like Zig Ziglar? Sid Ziegler, but it's spelled C-Y-D. Sid Ziegler, the co-founder of LGBTQIA. I'm not making that up. That is the name of the organization. LGBTQIA. I only know what the first 5 stand for. I don't know what the I and the A stand for. LGBTQIA positive sports site. Oh, no. That's not the name of it. The site is an LGBTQIA positive sports site called Outsports. Sid Ziegler had some interesting thoughts Thursday. Now, I actually found this interesting. Sid Ziegler, though woke as shit, as you would expect, doesn't want Tom Brenneman fired. What? Pants! I've been consistent, particularly in recent years, pushing for suspensions. And a suspension here is well-deserved. We all agree with that. And against people losing their jobs, said Sid Ziegler. By the way, if anybody knows how to pronounce that first name, please pass it along. It's because I've seen what can happen when people in sports are given a second chance. Fuck yes! How about this person? That is so sweet. All right, so what the Reds got to do is they got to go bang on the door of this person. I don't know if it's a dude or a chick, and say, "Yeah, we're gonna hook up to you and Brenneman. You gotta beat the shit out of Brenneman for extended time until you feel like he's whipped into shape, and then and only then can he come back." And if I'm Brenneman, I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I want to do it. It's a lot of work, so I guess it's up to Brenneman at this point. If the Reds do extend that, he would have to do this type of maneuver to fix it. Like when I did the Joel Pants incident, it was pretty much just out. But before that, this is like what workplaces do to like rehabilitate you from the fuck-uppery. When the AIDS incident went down, it was hilarious. This was so funny. I'm so glad I did it. I don't feel bad about it at all, and I take back the apology. In fact, I take back all apologies that I ever said on the air. If I ever said sorry on the air, I wasn't sorry. I'm not sorry any of those. I'm glad that I offended anyone. This is my redo apology for all apologies. This is for the AIDS drops, which I'll tell that story in a second. This is for Joel's Pants. I don't even remember any more of them. There have been several. I want to take... Hey, this is Eric Zane, former radio host. I would like to take back all apologies that I ever made to people I offended. Fuck you. The only reason why I apologize is because assholes were making me do it. Crybabies and pussy general managers. I'm not sorry. I made fun of the local car dealer who sounds like a dick with a dumb accent. Who was that dumb dick? Get yourself a car today. Some idiot with this stupid accent who has to be heard on ads. He has to be heard on his own ads. He got the worst Michigan accent. I ripped that guy a new one, and everybody got all butthurt and pussy rust. Oh, no, what are we going to do now? Someone's mad. Eat shit. So I'm not sorry for any of that shit. I take all apologies back. Fuck you. So the AIDS thing, I had to make an apology for that one. We had I think it was some organization that would put these ads on the air. It was real dramatic about some guy who's, and I don't have any problem with people that are fighting AIDS. That's what made it so much more funny. This poor guy, he says, I too can live with AIDS. Reach out to so-and-so for more information about how you can fight AIDS in your hometown. And then you hear Peter Griffin singing, "You have AIDS. I'm here to tell you, boy, but you have AIDS. Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS." Oh, God. Then Louis C.K., I would hit the drop of Louis C.K. where he would actually say, while this guy is saying, "I have AIDS, and I'm going to live." And then you would hear Louis C.K. go, "Would you please just die of AIDS?" What the fuck? So awesome. Great. That was hilarious. And then we did that for years, and everybody laughed uproariously. I'd do that in the room, and everybody would be going, "Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yes, yes, fucking great. Yes, you're the fucking man. High five. Do it again. You have AIDS. I hate to tell you, boy, but you have AIDS. Ah! Make fun of Joel's pants. Fuck those pants. Ah! Eric, can I have a word with you? Why? What's up? Man, the AIDS Foundation called. Yeah, fuck those guys. No, you're suspended. Fuck you. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You got to go on the air and say you love AIDS. Fuck that. No, either you do that or you're fired. Oh, fuck. All right, I love AIDS. Sorry. I'm not. And then they said, okay, now you got to go to sensitivity training. This is what Tom Brenneman has to do. You got to go to sensitivity training, Zane. What is that? Well, you see, you're not sensitive enough, so you got to go and take this class, and it's going to make you more sensitive. Like, oh, God forbid. So then Russ is like, okay, and you got to pay for this sensitivity training. It was like $2,000. You got to sit for a week in this room with some asshole and all these scenarios. And I'm like reading them, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Sounds good. And then Russ says, okay, now in a few weeks, you got to check in with me about how your training's going. Okay, yeah, I will. And I never did it. I never did do it. I just never said anything about it. And it just never happened. Russ. Ugh, God. What a puss. Anyway, back to the story. Sid Ziegler is this person from the positive sports site Outsports. Says, oh yeah, I don't want anybody to get fired. So what are the steps I'd lay out for Brenneman during what I think is deserved indefinite suspension? This according to this Sid Ziegler. If he means it, start with a better apology and talk about taking some time away to listen and learn. Oh no. Right away, I read that one, and if I'm Brenneman, I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to go drive a bus. I'm going to go drive limo, do a podcast. Contact P-Flag Cincinnati. I don't know what that is. And find ways Brenneman can talk with LGBTQ youth and their parents and listen about their lives. Oh, man, that would be terrible. All these people would want to kick his ass, man. After that, that's what Brenneman needs to say. Look, I don't want to do any of this shit. Why don't we just have all of the local gay community and the lesbians and the LGBTQIA community, every one of them can punch me in the stomach. I would rather do that for one full day, and it's a charity fundraiser. You got to pay $50 a punch, and you get to punch me in the stomach for $50, and then we'll raise money, and we're going to get, and then that's it. No more. I won't say it anymore, but I don't want to hear shit about this. I don't want your dumb class. I don't want your sensitivity training. You all get to punch me in the stomach. That's my only offer. Standing offer. Everybody can punch me in the stomach. If not, I'm not interested. I'm just going to quit. And when all of this is said and done and the Cincinnati Reds and his other employers believe there's been some real movement, I'd support giving him a second chance. So that's it. I would love to hear Brenneman give me details about what exactly were you talking about. I need more context here. It's what actually happened to you in that scenario. All right, once again, after going to the well a few times on the email, which has to be some kind of record, I can only assume that emailer Tim is back, and sure enough, he says, I want to be free Patreon, but he wrote free patron. Dummy, it's Patreon. Patreon, you cheap fuck. Maybe if you spent less money coloring your hair stupid colors and looking like a first-class dick with ears, you'd be better off and can pay for it yourself. As it stands, you're in the running. He writes, you're so kind. All right, we got a couple people there signing up. Sign up, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Make sure you write free Patreon. All right. Where the hell am I? Man, I got to pee. Damn it. Not quite done. We got to talk about this. The mask has done it again. The mask has led us to more hilarity, more awesomeness. I have one more baseball story that I will put on the Patreon. I talked about it. In fact, I'm kind of blue balling you on it. A pitcher wishes he was dead after a horrible in-game catastrophe. I will talk about that on the Patreon. Before we get to the incidents on the plane, though, Green Clean Technologies, they sponsor the email. Green Clean Technologies inbox. If your business has a data center, you need Green Clean Technologies. Get a quote from them about cleaning that area. Okay, there is so much garbage in the air, microscopically. If you don't really take some serious measures to clean those data centers, all of that stuff that you can't see, oddly charged particles, going to float around and land on places that it shouldn't. Very sensitive servers that will just fry after too much of that on them. Green Clean Technologies makes it so that those particulates are not in the air and get all of those particulates that are already existing on the servers off. And that's how they do it. It's an entire industry that has just blown up in recent years. And Green Clean Technologies, they are the best in the area at doing this. If you want to quote, go to their website, greencleantechnologies.com, or call them at 616-560-7272 for Green Clean Technologies. Hey, I've got a coupon code that you can use at Horizon Hydroponics that'll save you 10%. If you order something at horizonhydroponics.com, maybe you need the biggest and best fertilizer to make sure that your plants are growing appropriately. And you know what plants I'm talking about. For most of you. I mean, they're not going to lie. The majority of their clientele is people that are growing cannabis. And in Michigan, it's just a freaking haven to do that here. In this unbelievably liberal state when it comes to pot. Horizon Hydroponics wants to make sure you have all the right gear, all the right supplies, and they're going to save you 10% when you use the code Zane Show at checkout. Very important that you use that. Use Zane Show, and that tells them that a listener of the show is buying stuff that they heard it here. Okay? HorizonHydroponics.com is the website. They've got 4 locations: Grand Rapids on Alpine, the Growers Outlet in Byron Center, and then Kalamazoo and Lansing. Thank you, Horizon Hydroponics. This is the audio of 2 titans going toe-to-toe on a plane over a mask. Incredible behemoths, these gigantic, fat black ladies throwing these haymakers right into each other's faces while another awesome passenger shoots this video. What happened here? No. You can hear the blows. Oh, my God. Oh, everybody's going, stop. I'd be going, yeah, do it, man. You can actually hear the impact as these gigantic fat hands crash down onto faces. Oh, my God. No. Oh, my God. All right, what happened in this one? Tail of the tape. 2 gigantic women, and you'll be able to see this. I'll link it up at ericzaneshow.com. On the In the News section, like all the videos, most of the videos of the things I talk about, some I forget. It'll also be linked up in the show notes of the audio podcast. American Airlines flight. Boy, here it is Friday. This happened on Monday, though, but the video just kind of circulating right now, the footage from the incident. I love how the footage on these incidents for the person who's making it, nowadays, they basically reverse the shot so you can see their face in it as the fights go on behind them. So you see this masked face of the person holding the phone while these 2 whales just pound on each other. It happened before takeoff. The flight from Las Vegas to Charlotte, North Carolina. Twitter user Karen Ross fired this one out for the world. She's a true hero. Why? Because we got this. No. Yes. Yeah. Keep it going. Yeah, get her. Oh, this is a clip of the day.
The clip of the day.
Oh, my God. Wrestling in the aisle. One point falling into a row of seats. There's a couple sitting there, this old frail couple, and 800 pounds of fat, sweaty vag is just piled up on them. Like, fuck, man. They're still just going at it. It was great. The tweet was posted so much for social distancing. It broke out as the plane was preparing to take off. You cannot get onto a plane without a mask. There's a couple of circumstances where you can get away with it, but airlines are so serious. You see, airlines, they took it on the chin in the pandemic. They said, fuck this, we're flying. The airline said the passenger ended up that these passengers ended up fighting with each other. The one wasn't wearing a mask, and the airline folks said, "Hey, if you're gonna fly, you gotta wear a mask." She said, "I'm not wearing a mask," and they said, "Well, then you got to get off the plane." Well, all right. Rather than let the airline deal with it, the other passengers somehow got involved. And there you go. That's all it took, man. American requires face coverings on its flights. Like other major airlines, it has removed passengers who refuse to comply without a medical exemption. Last week at about this time, we told the story of the Southwest Airlines flight. You got a mom there. She's got a couple of kids. And the one kid is... I think their policy at Southwest is anybody over 2 must wear a mask. I think that's pretty much industry wide. So if it's like 2 and a day, you're out. No way. Come on, that can't be true, right? I have a story that talks about just that. But on the Southwest one, you got this kid with autism, and he's 3. Now, I mean, kids and autism, a lot of times that whole sensory thing, you can have. If you have a T-shirt with the tag on the back, to a kid with autism, depending on the various variables that are components of that kid's case, something like that is like the end of the world. It's really hard. I have a grandkid with autism, so one of the things that affects him is on a shirt, like on a long sleeve, you have like elastic on some long sleeve shirts. On my grandson Rowan, oh my God, that is not good. It's a real problem. And so putting a mask on a kid with autism, that can sometimes be a real struggle. Well, this kid was not having it, and the mom was dealing with it, and Southwest threw the whole family off the plane. So you know if they're throwing autism kid off the plane, shit, you gotta. Unless if, I don't know, I'm thinking that they're so strict that if you're, the kid who just got mauled by a pit bull and has no nose, they're still going to say, get a mask on that kid or he's off. It's like, oh, God, doesn't even have a nose. He just suffered a tragic mauling 4 days ago. We're going to see a new plastic surgeon. No, fuck that. Either put on the mask or he's out. Oh, no. They mean business on the airlines. This mother of 6, timeout. What mom gets on a plane with 5 kids? And if you're on that plane, gotta help you. 5 kids, and everybody knows all kids are idiots. And genetically, kids are supposed to, when they get onto an airplane, become the biggest assholes on the planet. They start with kick seat in front. They back it up with push the button and push the seat back so that it bashes you in the face. Then asshole shits pants. Other kid pisses pants. Other kid puts gum in hair of asshole brother. Idiot sisters start screaming bloody murder for no apparent reason. From the time wheels up to wheels down. By the time it's all said and done, all you want to do is grab the drink cart, ram it through the front fucking door, grab hold of the stick, and push it forward. Man, the worst. Well, this idiot mom takes 6 kids and gets on one of these shitty airline flights, JetBlue, which I think that's a pretty rickety setup to begin with. It's like flying on a Russian jetliner. And so these, the JetBlue flight attendants, they already hate their lives because they're getting all the poverty customers. This isn't like Delta. This is all the hillbillies who, they walk on, they have tobacco in their mouths or spitting it on the floor. They stink. It's just a nightmare. You get this hag wearing a tube top, comes strutting down the aisle with 6 fucking kids. Well, Shea Bruck is the lady from Brooklyn, New York, 39-year-old with 6 kids. Fuck! So she walks out of the plane. She's got a 2-year-old, and the kid has no mask on. The kid's not going to wear a mask. Now, if you're the other passengers on that plane, you're probably like, well, this crazy bitch comes on the plane with 6 kids. We got to get her off. We got to pull out all the stops. We got to band together as a unit. This is like Flight 93, where they get together and said, let's roll. They got to band together and get these 6 off the plane. This is just as critical as United 93. These people are in serious peril with this sick bitch with 6 kids. You don't want this. So they got to band together and come up with a way to get her and her 6 rugrats off the fucking plane. What do we do? So already one guy's getting his seat kicked. Another kid's puked. It's terrible. By the way, about 1% of the story is true so far. Well, thank God the flight attendant noticed kid not wearing a mask. Like I said, they don't care. Whether you're a fat bitch starting a fight, whether you're a 3-year-old autistic kid, if you don't have a mask and you're one day over 2 years old, out. Except this one is a winner maneuver, in my opinion, getting these 6 brats off the plane. So they go up to this crazy mom. They say, hey, how old's this kid? 2. Yeah, you know our policy, don't you? Yeah, 2 and under, they don't have to wear masks. Yeah, your kid's over 2. What do you mean? Well, unless his birthday is right this second, your kid is over 2. Is your kid even one day over 2? Yeah, get the fuck out. That's it. No questions asked. They are just crushing it on the airline industry. And these passengers, they started to bitch at the stewardess, saying, hey, man, no way, you can't do that. And she's like, trust me, I'm doing you a favor. Look at her stupid, degenerate, tube top wearing hillbilly ass with these 6 disgusting kids. This one has boogers coming out of his nose, wet snot. He's actually pushing them into his mouth. You want to sit next to this fucking kid? No. You should be paying me for this. The mom said, should I tie her hands? What should I do? Bruck asked the JetBlue flight attendant, according to a video of the incident. We have to deplane, the attendant responded, explaining the airline has a zero-tolerance policy. Wow. I'm now in support of the zero-tolerance policy. I've convinced myself in this unhinged, absurd rant that this is the way to go. Other passengers on board the flight to New York from Orlando attempted to stick up for Bruck. All of the passengers were up screaming and hollering, saying, that's not fair. Don't do that to that mother. Bullshit. That's fair. That's the way you do it. Passenger Annie Tavares from Kissimmee, Florida, told ABC News, the flight eventually took off after everyone deplaned. See, win-win. U.S. airlines continue to strengthen their mask requirements and have even banned passengers who don't comply. JetBlue, along with most major airlines. See, this is less about the mask to me, more about saving the other passengers. If you have crazy people who are going to bring 6 little kids on board, you got to do whatever. You got to band together as a group to get these animals off the plane. How the fuck can people afford this shit? When I was that age, it's me and my 4 brothers. It's Mike, Paul, Norman, Jim, Eric, Mom, Dad, driving to Florida. That's memories. That's why you don't fly. You drive. And there's nothing to do in the fucking car. You're sitting there fighting with your brother. Your dad's smoking his ass off with the windows up. No one's in a seatbelt or roaming around in the seat trying to... you got the yes-no books. Maybe, play some tic-tac-toe or some other shitty game that'll pass the time for like 2 minutes. Dad, are we there yet? Boom! My dad punching the shit out of us because they were talking too much and shit like that, begging him that, Dad, we pull over, been on the road for 5 minutes, I got him pissed. Takes like 6 weeks to get to fucking Florida. These families are flying there. Fuck them. They need to be driving to Florida. A JetBlue spokesperson said the airline's policy was last updated August 10th to ensure everyone is. I say lower the age. I say lower it. If you have a child that is older than 1 minute old, you must have a mask, and it has to fit properly. If it doesn't fit properly, they get thrown off. Like, actually, don't even put the thing back. Actually, just throw them off the plane so they fall out of it and just fuck you. Get out of here. You're done. All right, there you go. I think that is it. You know what? Let me do this. Let me take one more look at the email. Again, if you want a free Patreon membership for 2 months, compliments of Bennett Flooring installation. I almost said Bennett Flooring information. Reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. You must write free Patreon in the subject line. This is only for new people who do not have currently Patreon. That's the point. Bennett wants new people to sign up, and he and Jacob and Jason will pay for it. So there you go. I appreciate you doing that. Sign up on the email, and we will have the drawing in 1 week. Okay, folks, I don't think it's quite a record, but still, we had a hell of a run today. I appreciate you being part of this podcast. I'm not going to try to extend it for no particular reason. Just letting you know that I love you for being part of this podcast. Patreon just a little bit after I recharge. Post this one to the audio podcast. Again, subscribe, rate, and review to the audio podcast. That would be fun. Thank you. I'd appreciate reading those. On YouTube, my God, don't forget YouTube, Kevin in Muskegon is saying. Please follow on YouTube. Search Eric Zane Show. Hit the subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the bell for the notifications. Thumbs up on that shit. All right, now see you tonight at Great Lakes Winery, Brewery, Distillery in Holland, Michigan. Till next time, have a great weekend. Talk to you on Patreon. Bye-bye.
I'm a lesbian.
The clip of the day.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Yosemite.
That was dumb.
If you get any closer to me, you're going to have a right on that floor. You need to back the fuck away from me, lady.